Hey folks, what's going on? It's Tito Jeff Thitoff, the Jeff Thitoff Show. Follow me on Twitter @ThitHappens. Make sure you go check out the new website, updated with all new content all the time. Great new shows we're adding. Fanstreamsports.com. That's fanstreamsports.com. Go check it out. Lots to talk about today. We will have another part 2 of our interviews we did with the cast from Worst Christmas Ever, the movie coming out. The red carpet premieres here in Columbus on Thursday, November 13th at Studio 35. Go to studio35.com, click on events for tickets, and where you can come in and you can meet some of the actors and others from the movie. Theater release is November 14th then. The 13th, the day before, is the red carpet premiere at Studio 35. The 14th is a theater release, and then streaming on Tubi on November 18th. In this episode, we'll be joined by Maurice Hall, Bill Bellamy, and Shanti Lowry, all part of that movie. And we'll also play an extended clip of a trailer after the show as well. So we'll get to Maurice and Bill and Shanti here very shortly. First, I want to talk about this weekend in college football. And I know that the rankings just came out. There's a lot of things you can, not to get too upset about things now, because there's a lot of things that are still going to happen between now and the end of the season. Even this week, for instance, there's some trap games in there. Tonight, number 19 USC hosts Northwestern. I don't think that's a trap game, but you never know with USC. Tulane's at Memphis. That's another game, too. Memphis favorite 3.5. That's happening here on Friday night. It's at Memphis, but Memphis right now would be the group of 5 school that gets in. So a hiccup here could destroy Memphis' chances. Indiana's at Penn State on Saturday at noon Eastern time. You would think Indiana would be able to roll Penn State. Kurt Cignetti also, though, that seems like kind of guy to run the score up on Penn State. Indiana's favored by, I think, 14.5 right now. But nonetheless, as people have said, and Ryan Day said it, I don't think it's just hyperbole. Penn State does have a lot of talent. They're still a very talented team. Yes, they've got a young, inexperienced quarterback in there, but they can run the ball. They've got talent on defense. So just keeping an eye on that one. Also, BYU, Texas Tech at noon. That's a big one. Number 7, BYU at number 8, Texas Tech. That is for supremacy in the Big 12. That's another game to keep an eye on. And then looking like in the later games, Oregon's at Iowa. And that is a 3:30 kick on CBS. Oregon at Iowa. Number 9, Oregon. Number 20, Iowa. Iowa has like they always do, a really good defense. Their offense looks better this year. They seem to have difficulty in these kinds of games, though. It's at home. We'll see if they can give Oregon any kind of challenge whatsoever. In that game, Oregon's favored by 6.5. A&M, Texas A&M, number 3, undefeated in the country at number 22, Missouri. Missouri's got a lot to play for. Missouri's still trying to sneak into the CFP as well. And then later on in the evening, we've got LSU at Alabama. No, I don't think LSU's going to win that game. Alabama is favored by 9.5, but nonetheless, it's an SEC game. Navy's at Notre Dame. Notre Dame should roll in that game, but I'm curious to see if Navy can keep it close for a while. So there's a lot more, and every week it's going to happen this way. And I know that a lot of people are concerned about, regular season won't mean as much. No, the regular season means a lot. Right now, we're talking about games that we wouldn't normally talk about because it's a huge deal when you have a 12-team CFP. Other college football news, I should say. Wisconsin's AD came out, and there's been a lot of talk about Luke Fickell's situation there, and if he will end up being the coach beyond this year. And their AD, Chris McIntosh, came out and said that, yes, he will coach the team in 2026. And I'm not sure what the reasoning is. I'm not saying it's a wrong decision, but is it because of the buyout or because they believe in Fickell? A buyout of north of $20 million is what it would be for Fickell. And Wisconsin does not have the deep pockets some other Big Ten schools and schools across the country might have. So I don't know if it's a buyout related or if it is actually because they believe in Fickell. Either way, that's what I look at when some of these buyouts have happened. The huge one for Franklin, obviously the one for Brian Kelly down at LSU. Are you better off, instead of buying the coach out, putting that money you were putting the buyout, paying the buyout, putting that money into the roster, into facilities, into a different spot, what might improve the product on the field? I don't know. And I wonder if Wisconsin will say, okay, we're not going to buy him out for whatever, $21 million, whatever the number is. Instead, we're going to take that $21 million we're going to spend on buying him out, and we're going to reinvest it in the program and try to get players. Luke Fickell's still a good coach. He absolutely made a mistake showing up there and trying to get this air raid offense in, bringing in the OC from North Carolina, the quarterback, Tanner Mordecai from SMU, and tried to change the way they are. The Badgers are 2-6 this year. They haven't won a game yet in Big Ten play. But I think it's the right decision to stay in lockstep with Luke Fickell for now for Wisconsin and try to put the money in the program. Luke Fickell can still coach. He did not forget how to coach. Like you look at other coaches too, like just because they have a struggle or have a hiccup somewhere, it doesn't mean they forget how to coach. So I think it's the right decision for Wisconsin. I don't know now what's going to happen though with when we talk about the other, not that Luke was a candidate for other jobs, but you've got jobs open still at LSU, Florida. I still think Florida State will be open. Penn State obviously open. Auburn open. And I think a name to watch, particularly with Penn State, would be Pat Fitzgerald. Pat Fitzgerald was at Northwestern for 17 years, had a great record there, did very well for them. Remember, it's Northwestern. He got fired and then was vindicated because the charges against him about some things he did regarding like hazing and things like that with players ended up not being valid. So he's out there again. I think Pat Fitzgerald would be a great fit for Penn State. As far as Auburn, LSU, Florida, and that's not the order they would go in as far as the port. They'll probably be LSU, Florida, Auburn among the other jobs. I still think Lane Kiffin will get a strong look by all three of those schools. Will probably inquire about Lane Kiffin. I'm not sure if he'll go because he's got a good thing going at Ole Miss. If you start looking at the schools and the ones we consider blue bloods before, are they still blue bloods? And what I mean by that is for a long time, you could pencil in long time, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, Florida State, Miami, Florida. I know I'm forgetting somebody who's gonna anger somebody, but like those kind of schools, you said, you know what, Notre Dame, those schools are going to be good and relevant every single year. And now you've got schools like Georgia Tech. Is it a hiccup that Georgia Tech's doing what they're doing? One loss and have a chance to potentially win the ACC and get into the CFP. Indiana, is it a hiccup? Is this just going to be, it's going to be a few years of this and then go back to Indiana football? You know, you look at these kind of schools like this. Ole Miss, obviously, they're back on a great track with Lane Kiffin. But I start to wonder if the blue blood thing, because now everything is out in the open. There's not any kind of cheating behind the scenes, paying players. And I'm not saying all those schools I mentioned did pay players, the old blue bloods. I'm not saying it, but I'm kind of saying it because I think some of them did. But I wonder if this is the new norm. If the new norm is fewer blue bloods, because there are fewer now. There are fewer blue bloods now, in my opinion, than there were. How do you kick out of the blue blood club? Well, you have a stretch of time where your team is not really relevant. Relevant's the word I'm looking for. A stretch of time where your school is not relevant. I think Nebraska's there. Is Penn State there? Is Florida State there? Is Miami still relevant? They could have made the CFP, but the fact that Miami's not getting over the hump, Florida, Auburn, those schools right there are in a critical time where they can't afford to make another bad hire. Switching over to the NFL, Broncos beat the Raiders 10-7, and I wonder if Chip Kelly has any regrets about leaving Ohio State to chase some money. And look, he had every right to do that, to chase some money and go back to the NFL ranks. If he had a chance for a do-over, would he have stayed at Ohio State, been the OC with Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, and those guys all coming in and what they could do, and then having maybe a better choice of jobs? Because Chip Kelly had a great 1 year here, but if he had great 2 years, would there be more attractive jobs out there? Because now he's in Vegas with Pete Carroll, and they're going nowhere. Their offense has struggled mightily. And I don't think it's because Chip Kelly's a bad OC. Chip Kelly's a great OC. I think it's about talent. So I wonder if that would happen. And that's why I look at Matt Patricia for Ohio State. And Matt Patricia will get offered DC jobs, I would have to believe, at the NFL level after this season. If Ohio State does, in fact, run the table, win the national championship for a second straight year, I have to believe there will be some NFL teams that will at least kick the tires on bringing Matt Patricia over. But I wonder if what Matt Patricia's witnessed with Chip Kelly and hell with James Franklin at Penn State, would he make that jump? Because I think Chip Kelly went for the money because he wanted to be back in the NFL. Two reasons right there. Franklin made the jump for the money. And plus, he didn't like being challenged, I don't think, by Ryan Day and in some ways Larry Johnson. But the grass is not always greener, as I think Jim Knowles is finding out, and as he found out last weekend when Ohio State took on Penn State. and now they've got a new head coach they're looking for. Who knows where that program's headed? I wonder if those things, if the Chip Kelly, if the Jim Knowles situations and how that's transpired, if that would have an impact on what Matt Patricia wants to do going forward. Same thing with Brian Hartline. Look, Hartline's going to get named as a candidate for every big-time college football head coaching job. Everyone is going to want to, Penn State, LSU, Florida, Auburn. They're all going to want to interview Brian Hartline. But does Brian Hartline look at like the Luke Fickell situation? Look at Knowles and Chip Kelly and decide, you know what? It's not really that bad to be the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. And I've said this many times. Ohio State, every game, Brian Hartline's offense is out there. They have an advantage over the defense. Every single game. If you go to Penn State and rebuild, that's not going to be the case. If you go to LSU, Auburn, Florida, the NFL, you will not always have superior talent on the field. That should mean something. I think Hartline wants to be the next coach at Ohio State. I have no insider information on that. I'm just saying I think that Hartline would like to do that, and that might be 5 to 7 years of waiting, but maybe Hartline's okay with that. Maybe Hartline's okay with learning and continue to grow the Ohio State program at Ryan Day. Because if you look at it, Ryan Day in Ohio State, they are the model now in college football. Saban's gone, and that was under the old model of college football where I truly believe SEC teams, many of them were paying people under the table, whatever, getting people. But Alabama had a huge advantage that they don't have anymore. In these new rules with NIL, the transfer portal, the buyouts that are happening, what Ryan Day has been able to do at Ohio State, because a lot of these players on Ohio State's team could go somewhere else and make more money, but they're sticking around Ohio State for a couple of reasons. One, the culture. Two, the opportunities and the ability for these guys to look long-term. Yes, Jeremiah Smith could make a lot more money going to another school. But does he want to do that? Does he want to risk what he's got at Ohio State, where he knows great quarterback, next year Chris Henry Jr. comes on board, great OC who recruited him, and a chance to keep winning a championship? If he goes to another school, he might make more money, might not be better for him. And I think Ohio State players, I can't think of many guys that Ohio State has lost recently that they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we lost that guy. As far as transfers, most of the transfers happened under Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day would say, if he was on a lie detector test, would say he's been okay with. He's been okay with a lot of those, I have to believe. So anyway, we'll talk more on Monday about the Ohio State game against Purdue and where things are at as far as the college football playoff goes. Lots of games again this weekend to talk. We'll talk a lot more about NFL as well as we are getting closer and closer to where we start paying more attention to where the playoff scenarios are. By the way, I'm going to go now. Worst Christmas ever. Red Carpet premiere here in Columbus, Thursday, November 13th, Studio 35. Go to studio35.com. Click on events for tickets. You can meet some of the actors, others from the movie. Theater releases November 14th, streaming on Tubi November 18th. Former Buckeye great Maurice Hall. He is one of the co-directors, co-producers, co-writers, and star in the show. Bill Bellamy also in the movie as well. You know Bill Bellamy. Shanti Lowry. Looks like a hysterical movie, folks. You ought to go check it out. It's based on true events that happened with the co-writer on that one. But and we'll have a trailer after we do this. We'll have the trailer after we do the interview. But right now we're going to turn it over to the interview I recorded with Maurice, Bill, and Shanti. Hey, folks, Jeff Thitoff, Tito here. We're going to talk more about Worst Christmas Ever here on FanStream Sports. And you might wonder about the sports tie-in. I'll tell you what it is. Maurice Hall, he is the former one of the best running backs the state's ever had at Brookhaven High School, and also the national champion at Ohio State. And so we're bringing him on. He's the he's in the movie, actor, co-director, and co-writer. The woman up top there you see is Shanti Lowry. She is in the film as well, as is the guy lower left there, Bill Bellamy. And the Worst Christmas Ever movie, red carpet premiere is Thursday, November 13th at Studio 35, studio35.com. Go there and click on events. Released in theaters November 14th. On Tubi, it'll be streaming November 18th. Shanti, I'm curious for you, what about this project was attractive to you?
You know, Honestly, it was attractive to do something that was going to be fun and lighthearted and enjoyable to shoot. Sometimes as actors, we take on like big, heavy projects because that's also like sometimes what you need in your life. That's not what I needed. I had a 3-year-old and I was like, can I just have something light and fun and have a good group of people and then actually have something that I can bring my daughter to? So that was the main impetus for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, how about you? What about this project? What drew you to it?
Well, when I read the script, I just started laughing because I saw all my cousins and aunts and uncles and friends, and I'm like, "Oh, that is us! Oh Lord, that ain't nothing but the Bellamy's, you know." And and so when I saw that, and just the contrast of forcing yourself to do something during the holidays, knowing that it might be an avalanche and emotional, and I just love that contrast. That's what comedy comes from, where it's like, okay, this guy is still in love with his ex, but he trying to bring somebody else, and she got a new dude. It's like it's what we call a clusterfuck of stuff.
Uh, when did you actually? When was the filming for this? Primary filming for this, Maurice?
Where was it?
No, when? Like what time? What time of the year was it when you were filming this?
So we shot
May.
in April, actually. I think
I was
Okay.
gonna say May. Yeah, April, May. Yeah.
How tough is that though to shoot I know you have to because of all the stuff you have to do, but is it like I know that when November and December hit, I get in big time Christmas spirit.
Right.
And
absolutely.
how did is it difficult, or am I overstating that? I'm overrating how difficult it is to get like into that Christmas spirit when it's that time of year.
Man, it can be, but with the right production design and the right kind of mess we put together, it turns into Christmas, man. And fortunately we were able to have a great production designer that made every scene
Oh
and
man.
every place we went to, it felt like, okay, I'm in the spirit. I'm in the
Yeah.
spirit. And
Yeah.
and then that we kind of went from there based on the script, and it felt good. And obviously you got to shoot them early to try to turn it around to get it on air during the holiday season. So that's what we did. But yeah, no, one day I do want to shoot in the wintertime in a real place where it is actual snow.
No,
Right.
well, don't call me. Don't call
I
me.
was just gonna say I'm not in that one.
No, I
I'm
won't be
sorry.
there.
Like, man, we good on that.
Oh
Okay,
man, you out
got
there
it.
trying to do your lines like yo,
Yo.
no man, you crazy.
It feels like the good thing though, Bills, you wouldn't have to act in that one. You really
No,
are
you
going to be
just
cold.
like, yo, you be doing your lines like, come on, man.
That could be worst Christmas ever too. Is Bill in the snow? Maybe that's what it'll be.
So
Absolutely.
we actually got an idea for a sequel of Worst Christmas Ever, and it takes place in Costa Rica. So that would be totally different, but that'd be fun too.
Bill will
And
do that one then.
did I tell you I'm available for that one?
Yeah,
you
see,
have
she like
Costa
that.
Rica?
Shanti said, yes.
that one works.
But it looked like what Maurice was saying is true. When we got to set, like the set decorators had flipped those, man. When I went to my house, I was like, damn, it is December. Like they had the lights. All we missed was some eggnog. It was really popping.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was popping. They did a great job.
Shanti, we don't know if Tony Patterson, co-director, co-writer, and I just found out Patron won in one of the scenes. So he also is an actor.
Yep.
Patron won, and
Yeah.
the fact this is based on something with him, his life, something happened in his life. I know it's not completely on it, but based on it though. Working for him when he's directing, was that a challenge because it's based on someone's life or not?
I mean, it wasn't a challenge. It was funny sometimes, because he would talk in the third person and then stop and be like, no, that's not what I did. Or no, that's not what she said. He'd have little conversations with himself about like the movie versus reality versus like going down memory lane. And sometimes Mo would be like,
hey,
let's do the
exactly.
movie.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah. No, it wasn't strange. It was actually really inspiring. It was inspiring to have it.
The funny
It
part
was therapy for Tony.
That's what I wondered. I wonder if it was. Yeah,
it was. And Shanti played. In reality, she played Tony's ex-wife. right?
Right.
So it was funny to see him, how he responded to, you know, stuff that she did, because it felt like it was hitting him all over again. I'm like, relax, we're shooting a movie, okay? Like, everything's fine, you know what I mean? Come on, guys. So it was
Oh
funny.
my
And
God.
then, you know,
That's
Bill
funny.
played, you know, he played in reality Tony's best friend, who he kind of
Right.
Yeah.
like confided in. So, you know, Bill was so amazing in his role, because he brought, you know, the what isn't you know, the his real friend isn't that funny, right? So Bill brought the funniness in there, that it really gave us like, oh man, everything's gonna be okay, you know. So
Yeah.
it was a him and Tamala as well was
Oh my God.
fantastic. So they're
Yeah.
great, so great together.
It's Worst Christmas Ever. Red carpet premiere on Thursday, November 13th at Studio 35. It's going to be probably in the 50s here, so I know Bill Bellamy will not be here. Go to studio35.com, click on events. You can check it out there. But he'll be at the LA one, probably not at the one here. That's okay. You will. I knew you would be, Bill. Okay. Bill, is there a character in the movie, and it could be the one you played, but is there somebody in the movie, like a character that you're like, you know what, I'm really aligned with that guy. Like, that guy that's something I could do without really having to put much effort into it.
Well, actually, I related to BT's character and my character because of the friendship. Like, what I thought was so cool was, like, it's, imagine big bro, little bro,
Mhm.
best friends, they know where all the bodies are buried, kind of thing, and they trust each other, right? And so I'm the guy he called when he's going through the divorce.
Right.
I'm the guy he calls where he's like, man, should I go by there and just say sorry or whatever? So I just built my history in my mind on how close these guys truly, truly are. They joke with each other, you know, they have their serious moments, but he knows at the end of the day that I love him, you know, and I'm not
Right.
gonna steer him wrong. So I'm sort of like the voice of reason, and I'm still in my marriage. So I'm like the example
Right.
of sort of
Right.
like, you know, that one
Absolutely.
couple that's still together and they still flirt around the
Right.
house and they talk
Right.
shit. You know, we're that couple. Like, we
Yep.
still in love, kind of thing. So, you know, he's like, let me go over their house and see what I know they're gonna be, you know, half naked or, you know, doing something fun and making cookies
Exactly.
and kikiing in the kitchen. You know, they're that kind of fun couple. And that's the kind of energy that Tamla and I had in the scenes. You know, we're in a small part of the movie,
Right.
but I think you feel the essence of their relationship and you want to
Yep.
see more of them, because it's like, man, they're a
Yep.
cute couple.
The voice of reason. Have
Yes.
you, growing up your whole life, have you always been the voice of reason, or did that something that came on later on in life? You, the person.
Later.
Okay. Hey, look, all I know is from your
I
stand-up
know.
stuff and your movies, so I didn't know.
Nah, I
Look,
ain't have it like that in the beginning.
all right.
It took some lumps on the head. Yeah, okay, but
That's
that don't
funny.
work.
Yeah, I was gonna say Maurice and I, we roamed the same halls at Brookhaven High School. Granted, a few years
Okay.
apart, and I can tell you from when I first met him, I think he's always a voice of reason guy. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
think Maurice
Logical.
has that
I
vibe.
see that. I can see that. I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's why it was so interesting and fun to play a different character than like Billy, who's, you know, who is more straight laced and, you know, your standard type of character. You know, I was played, obviously, Shanti was my fiance, and we had fun, you know, and I enjoyed, you know, going back and forth with BJ when he came, you know, came to Atlanta to our home for Christmas, and, you know, we had a good time, man. It was funny.
Yeah. You played a very emotional character, I feel
I
like. More
did. I did.
emotional than, because you are very reasonable and very logical, and your character was like the opposite, just like hard on his sleeve. And it was pretty
Yeah.
funny to watch you play that, actually.
No, hey, it was fun. It was definitely fun. And we were, you know, the funny part is, so Shanti, you know, the script was totally different initially.
Okay.
So Shanti auditioned for a character, a different character that, you know, initially she was a lawyer, but she was also like a dancer.
Okay.
And we ended up changing the script, but we were like, man, we got to figure out how to get Shanti in this because we love her. And once we changed the script, we was like, perfect. She works perfect as Alicia, who plays his ex-wife. So we were so excited to have her a part of it, because she just went out there and killed it and brought a lot of light to set as well, and cookies. And I mean, she's like, whatever you need, cookies, tacos, like she's
Right.
like, she's there for you.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Shanti, when you go through like a production like this, and I wonder if, as an actress, when you go through all of this blood, sweat, and everything involved in this, and many takes, I'm sure, at different times, do you feel a bond with your co-actors and the producers and directors? Like, do you feel like almost like we went through something together?
Oh, sure. For sure. There's this weird thing that you do as an actor where you have to fake those bonds to begin with, because you walk on set on day one and you have someone telling you how to wear your hair and makeup. That takes trust. You have someone telling you where to stand, and telling you, trust me, say the line here. That takes trust. Then you have this actor saying, like, come over here and give me a smooch. Like, I don't know you.
Right.
And so you have to, like, just open your heart and your energy and say, okay, I'm building these bonds. This is going to be deep and real, and let's get to know each other. But then on top of that, real bonds build really fast because of that. And so, like a week in, all of a sudden you could invite them over for Christmas and it would be like totally normal. And that's weird too when the movie then wraps, because you're like, I'm missing my fiance and my fake family.
Exactly.
So the bonds are always deep in movies.
Bill, you mentioned kind of in passing that, it's like the way you grew up, Christmas, stuff like that. You come over sometimes, and you mentioned sometimes some people be half naked. Is there nudity in this film?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure I want to get clear before
it's a holiday film. Yeah. We not getting butt naked yet.
My daughter, remember? My daughter.
Part two, we might get naked and wild.
Costa Rica, right? Yeah, but not in this one. Okay, that's fair enough. Maurice, and then tying that back in with the bond you feel. I got to believe it's similar to what you felt in football. Like, you can bump into one of your players that you played with in high school or college or whatever, and it's like you automatically can pick up where you left off because you've been through it together.
Exactly. No, it is, and I know Bill plays a lot of basketball, but it's the exact same feel where
absolutely
you work with someone, and you might not see them or talk to them on a regular, but you see each other again, and you had that common bond at that one time, and you guys connected, over something to make something special. And I feel like that is very similar to that. So I think sports really helped me from that aspect to really help bring people together and then keep those connections, man.
It is Worst Christmas Ever. Red carpet premiere on Thursday, November 13th at Studio 35, studio35.com. Click on events. Released in theaters November 14th on Tubi, streaming November 18th. And Bill, I don't know if you and Shanti knows not, this dude Maurice Hall is a big deal in Columbus. All right. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a big deal out there, but I'm just telling you, this dude is a big deal here in Columbus.
Listen, bro, there ain't enough room in Columbus for him, bro. I'm just saying, y'all better move over. Mom coming through. It's a problem.
Yeah, I'm coming to Columbus, even though it's a cold weekend, just to see the way Columbus greets Mo.
Yeah, they gotta celebrate. They gotta celebrate them, and you know what? We have a great product. Very, very proud of Tony and Mo for putting this together, because obviously, we shot this in a short window of time.
14
it was
days,
quality. It was quality actors. People, everybody put their rolled up their sleeves, and everybody came in with their A game. So immediately, I came in. I just felt like, bam, boom, we was rolling. Like, it didn't even take. I mean, damn, it was perfect. I felt like we all was just connected, like boom, 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 boom. And we were knocking them scenes out. Even the ones that I wasn't in, that I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, we good. We good.
Bill, you mentioned, Maurice mentioned in passing, you still play basketball. I got to believe you're on the level of fame where people let you win. Is that true or not?
No, they still found me, bro. Like, sometimes I'd be like, yo, man, you ain't got to do all that. Because what happens, because first of all, most people don't know I've been playing ball my whole life. So they don't actually know what the skill level is until they see it, right? So then they're like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm not going to let Bellamy kill me, Then I'm like, dude, I'm 75. Let me just
Shanti, I'm going to tell you
Everybody
this.
wanted YouTube moment.
This is a full circle moment for me because when I first got into sports media, and I've said that when I talked to people before, the first person I interviewed was freshman high school running back Maurice Hall for the Columbus Dispatch here after the C-League championship game. That was the first person I interviewed. Then I get into the Dispatch, and they start having me on a weekly hit in Omaha, Nebraska for some radio station to talk about the NFL. And the first time I did that, they said, you're coming up in a couple minutes. I get on hold and all stuff. And they say, as soon as we get done with Bill Bellamy, you're up next. And so I followed Bill Bellamy, but he took too long. He made me wait 3 minutes. Bill Bellamy kept on. He cut into my time. So I'm just letting you know, if I cut any part of this interview, it's just payback for Bill and nobody take it personally.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah.
My God, that is hilarious.
So anyway, well, red carpet premiere Thursday, November 13th, Studio 35 in Columbus. Worst Christmas ever. Studio35.com. Click on events. Released in theaters November 14th. On Tubi was streaming November 18th. Shanti Lowry will be here for the red carpet premiere, but because he doesn't go anywhere if it's lower than 50 degrees, Bill Bellamy will be inside under a blanket drinking hot chocolate.
Listen, I'm going to be there. I'm going to send my hologram. My hologram.
Perfect. Yes, exactly.
I'll be walking around. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
That was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it. Best of luck with the movie.
Thank
All
you,
right,
man.
buddy.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
y'all,
See
man.
you.
Peace.
All right.
What in God's name is that in my driveway?
Not my car.
Hey, Pops. They canceled our second flight.
No, Lee, do not do this to me. I can't be there with your mom and her new fiance any longer.
Hey, babe. My boo. Come on.
I guarantee there's not one bone of rhythm in that body. Oh, well, at least I know you didn't leave me for style. Look at his face. You gonna cry. Did you call him hun?
No, something's been different since Billy's been here.
Worst Christmas ever.
What's your name?
Harmony Davis.
Harmony Davis.
So my man been in Atlanta less than 24 hours to scoop up a honey.
She fine? She's funny.
Wendy Williams is funny. The next thing out your mouth is she got a great personality.
She's beautiful. You remembered my name. Looks like I left a lasting impression.
Or maybe I'm just good with names.
You look like you need to cool down.
How are you feeling? It's family reunion. I'm a little worried about my pops. It wasn't his decision to get the divorce.
You treat your dad like he's a stranger. He is.
This is about to be the worst Christmas ever.
You got a great opportunity to have a relationship with your kids.
I love you, Dad.
You have a better opportunity to be a great father. Maybe you'll have a better opportunity to be a hoe whisperer for heaven.
No.
Challenge accepted.
I'm excited everyone's coming.
That makes one of us.
Have fun.
In Christmasville, everybody's welcome.
Have a Merry Christmas, brother.
Hey, my luggage.
Merry Christmas.